Thank you. To be awarded FCA Student Athlete of the Year is truly an honor. I would like to thank all the individuals who have invested in my life over the past 18 years and have played a significant role in getting me to where I am today. First and foremost, I want to thank my personal Savior, Jesus Christ, for saving me, guiding me, directing me, comforting me, strengthening me, and being patient with me since the time I gave my life to Him at just 6 years old. It's by His grace that I am who I am today. I would also like to thank my parents, coaches, trainers, teachers, family, and friends for pouring countless hours into my life and standing by my side through the highs and lows, always encouraging me along the way to never give up and always persevere. It's because of your love, support, and guidance that I can stand before you tonight and accept this award. It's not something that I want to take credit for. It's an award that reflects God's power and strength. It is Christ that deserves the entire honor for my accomplishments. My love for tennis was deeply rooted into my life at a young age. My dad owned a tennis club, so tennis became a part of everyday life for me. Going to the club with him and watching others play, including my older siblings, sparked something inside me that made me want to be just like them. At the age of 7, I began competing locally, and within 3 years, I was competing at the national level. Every year, my abilities in tennis became stronger and stronger. Part of this had to do with the fact that my dad was the coach and would always push me harder than anybody else out there. I won't lie to you, there were definitely days that I felt like throwing in the towel and walking away because training was more than I thought I could handle. However, I continued to push on and push through. As I entered into high school, I was given the choice to compete on the girls' team or to begin my high school tennis career on the boys' team. Knowing that training with the guys would push me to limits I had never experienced before, I chose that route. Looking back at what I had already accomplished, I told myself, I can't do this. I started off the year successful, and I quickly began making future plans of where my career was going to take me. I had it all planned out, or so I thought. Spring break, freshman year, I will always remember as the wake-up call. The time I realized maybe I didn't have it all figured out, and the time I told myself maybe I couldn't do it. This time I realized my tennis career might actually be over. I vividly recall the morning I woke up with a pain in my shoulder that I couldn't ignore. I didn't remember ever hurting it, but I knew it never hurt like this before. We quickly sought out doctors and trainers' opinions and tried many hours of therapy to fix my shoulder, yet nothing helped. I was on and off the court over the next year and a half, trying to push through the pain until one day I just couldn't do it anymore. The surgeons ended up scoping my shoulder and found adhesions and a tear in my rotator cuff. After surgery, they ordered me to stay off the court for 3 to 6 months so that I could properly heal, which ultimately took me about 2 years to recover. My love for tennis had quickly turned into a source of frustration and anger. I remember questioning, why would anybody do this to me? You see, up to this point, nothing bad had really ever happened in my life. I attended church regularly, and I had begun taking on leadership roles within the youth group all at the same time I was excelling in my tennis career. I had been taught how to play for God's glory, but in my mind, it was all about what God was doing for me instead of what I could do for God through this. This is when my perspective began to shift. I began to realize that God was writing a story through my life in which His power could be seen through my weakness. Not just in my physical weakness, that He took me away from the sport that I love, but He was using my spiritual weakness to help me realize that I needed Him and what it truly meant to play for His glory and not my own. It was during that time of weakness that God allowed my trainers to spark yet another passion inside of me. It was then that I realized that becoming an athletic trainer after high school was something that I was being called to. Junior year, I came back physically strong, and this time around I wanted my abilities to reflect what God had done in my life. Towards the end of the season, I hit another bump in the road and injured my wrist. After many therapy sessions, cortisone, and numbing injections, we found a chiropractor that was confident that he could help the problem to avoid surgery. Within 2 weeks, I was back to playing tennis full-time. God reminded me, I'll never leave you, and in your weakness I am made strong. As I stand before you tonight, you may or not be able to see that I had problems with my wrist that continued, and just 2 months ago I had the surgery to repair an injured tendon in my wrist. For all the unknowns, God has brought to my mind the truth found in James 1:2-4 that says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance." In athletics, as well as in life, we will face trials. We will find ourselves faced with the choice of complaining about our struggles and giving up what God is trying to accomplish through us, or we can choose to turn our hardships into times of learning and opportunities for growth. In conclusion, as I continue on this journey of life, I remind myself daily of the verse found in John 3:30. He must become greater, I must become less. May God get all the honor in what He chooses to accomplish through the rest of my life.